I didn't plan to record this. Some stories are not meant for the public, not for likes or comments. They exist only so that someone else can understand one thing. They are not the first, and possibly not the last. ENL is not a word from any language. It's a designation, a mark. That's what those who survived the contact called it. Those who were lucky enough to return and unlucky enough to remember. In our village, the forest began abruptly. Not gradually, not with a clearing, but like a wall. The trees grew so densely that even during the day, shadows lived between them. The elders said the forest remembered more than it should. Children laughed. Children always laugh until they learn how to stay silent. My grandfather lived at the very edge. His house was the last one. Beyond it, only a narrow path and the forest. He never locked the door at night, but he always closed the windows. And he never looked into the darkness between the trees. If the forest looks at you first, he used to say, then you're already too late. I didn't understand the first encounter. I was about 8 years old. I woke up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling, as if someone was standing in the room, but not occupying space. The air in one corner felt thicker, darker. I couldn't see a figure, but I knew exactly where it was. Instinctively, the way animals know when they're being watched. I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, everything was gone. I told myself it was a dream, a child's fear. But that morning, my grandfather looked at me longer than usual. "It noticed you," he said quietly, almost to himself. Years passed. I moved away. I grew up. I forgot. Childhood fears fade easily when they're not fed. I didn't think about the forest. I didn't think about that night. I didn't think about my grandfather's words. Until I came back. The house stood empty. My grandfather had died a year before my return. Inside, it was cold, even in summer. At night, the house creaked, but not the way it should. The sounds were delayed. A step, and the echo came too late. As if space itself was hesitating whether to respond. That night, I couldn't sleep. And instead of staying inside, I went out. Just for a walk. Just to look at the forest. It was a mistake. The path looked familiar. But with every step, something felt wrong. The night was unnaturally quiet. No insects. No rustling leaves. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. I stopped when I realized my footsteps were being repeated. Not an echo. Not a sound. The movement itself. With a delay of exactly 1 second. Then space changed. The forest ahead felt closer than it should have been. And the way back felt longer. I turned around. The house was gone. Only trees. Closer. Denser. ENL did not appear. It manifested. The darkness between the trees began to gather into a shape. Unstable. The outlines shifted and broke, as if reality itself couldn't agree on how it should look. It had no face, but I felt its gaze, directed straight at me. Not at my body. Deeper. It didn't move normally. The distance between us simply disappeared, as if space was being erased. Memories began surfacing in my mind. Not randomly, selectively. Moments I was ashamed of. Fears I had never confessed. Thoughts that were never meant to be spoken. ENL was reading me. And then I heard a voice. Not a sound, the presence of words. It said I had seen it before. In dreams. In window reflections. In dark corners of rooms when the lights were turned off too suddenly. It said I had always known about it. I just never had a name for it. ENL does not kill. It doesn't need bodies. It needs witnesses. Those who can remember. Those who will carry it forward. I don't remember how I ended up at the edge of the forest. I woke up at dawn. My phone was dead. My watch had stopped at the exact minute I stepped into the forest. It has been with me ever since. Sometimes the shadows in my room don't move in sync with the light. Sometimes I hear a thought before I think it. And sometimes, in the mirror, I see myself blink a second too late. ENL does not come twice. It simply stays. And if you're listening to this now, in silence, if at some point the sounds around you feel muted, if the space behind you suddenly feels deeper than it should, don't turn around. It already knows you're listening.